Hello, YouTube! Today, I'll be doing the second part of my Synopsis series on the Institute. So, yeah, let's watch Season 1, Episode 2 of this show. The literal first scene is of Sigsbee bursting into Luke's room and being horrifyingly happy.
I'm sorry, but Sigsbee is way too into this.
Anyway, it's Iris' graduation day, and when she said that I was very confused, LOL. Graduation is when kids graduate from front half to back half and the staff pretty much puts on a party for them. This part was not in the book ... in the book. They just randomly took you down to back half ... Some of the kids didn't even know if another was taken until they were told by another kid. So at every graduation they have a cake and on this cake are candles representing how many days the person has been in front half. Then we get this heartbreaking scene of Iris saying goodbye to everyone before she gets taken to back half. This is so sweet. She's known Luke for one day and she still hugged him. And then Tony being the jerk he is has to ruin the moment. Meanwhile, Wendy is warning Tim about these two kids who are pulling a string of robberies and they are leading right to their town. Wendy offers Tim a weapon, but he turns it down, obviously because of the incident with the kid at the mall. Anyways, then Tim makes a joke about coffee.
Where is the fella supposed to get an oat milk latte in this town?
There's a Starbucks down in Waterville. It's about 98 miles.
No, that was a big city cop joke. I don't lattes.
I'm with Wendy here, Tim. That was not funny.
Next scene, we see Sigsbee and Stackhouse talking with this guy from what they call the upstairs. Personal theory here. I think the upstairs is supposed to be the shop from another of Stephen King's books, Firestarter. Sigsbee is telling the upstairs that she needs more kids for the Institute. The whole time this is happening, we find out that there is a little tension between Sigsbee and Stackhouse.
Sir, I don't believe everyone on this conference has clearance.
Tony is bringing Luke down for his first official test. Luke tells Tony that he can't do his telekinesis on command yet. His response to this is at least not slapping this time.
Let's take the can'ts out of our vocabulary, huh, champ? Can't's a fucking beta word.
They go into the testing room, and we get to see Hendricks again.
Dr. Hendricks, head of medical operations. We met briefly in Ms. Sigsbee's office, but you weren't at your best.
Well, Luke doesn't shake.
What is he? A dog?
Luke asks Hendricks a little about his morality as a doctor and such. I'll just let him explain it.
So you're really a doctor, huh?
Of course.
But a medical doctor, not like Dr. Phil.
Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
How about all those oaths they make you take? Primum non nocere. How does that square with kidnapping and testing without consent?
Oh, right. You're the smart one.
Hippocrates never actually said it, you know? Primum non nocere. Everything just sounds better in Latin.
First, do no harm. All surgery is harm.
Tony then gives Luke his first shot. Luke obviously wants to know what's in it, but Tony shuts his down on the grounds that he only wants to know so he can go on feeling smarter than everyone else. Hendricks says that Luke shouldn't see the dots, meaning shots for dots. Quite yet, but it totally looks like he's seeing them. We cut back to Tim's storyline to see Annie yelling at a townsperson named Kelly Sloan. Kelly Sloan's daughter, Zoe Sloan, died and Annie is telling her that her death wasn't an accident. Drew shows up and does his best to defuse the situation, and Annie warns Tim about Drew pretty much.
Careful with him. They look just like us, sound like us too, except for the toes. You gotta look at the pinky toes. They're bent all funny. Oh.
Back to Luke's test. He is tasked with picking up a metal box with his telekinesis. Luke tries and at first he couldn't do it. Then Tony, acting like his normal jerk self, says,
We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here, huh?
Tony, can you do it? No, so shut the mouth.
They give Luke another shot and he's able to do it. He also pushes a chair across the room. And then we get Tony's only try at being inspirational. It comes out as him being a jerk, of course. He's incapable of anything else.
Told you could do it, champ. No one's gonna believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
Maureen brings Luke back to the Institute's living area and he meets up with Nikki.
You look like shit. Thank you. Had my first shots for dots.
Wait, did I say who Maureen is? Well, she's literally just the custodian who works there that most of the kids are friends with. Then we see George stumbling into the room. And Nikki explains that George just went through a test known as the Dream Box. The Dream Box is the last test in front half. And when you can line up the dots that you see, then you are ready for back half. They show you a bunch of scary images and stuff in it to trigger your powers also. Nikki says that Iris describes it as your own personal horror movie. Anyways, then Tony randomly comes up to them.
Hey, lovebirds. See any dots lately?
You got dots for fucking brains.
You and me, kid. Anytime.
Tony, you are so pathetic. I'm sorry. In the book, the staff wasn't this interactive with the kids outside of tests and such.
Now, this next scene really goes off from the book.
You're late.
Yes, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Did you take your pill?
Can't you tell?
Meanwhile, Luke and Nikki talk about their grand escape a little bit.
Now, security cams I've seen, one in every communal room and one on either side of every hallway, all motion activated. My guess is that main server is locked up tight. The easiest way to do that would be to recruit an inside man.
An inside man? Here?
Look, all organizations have weak links. Okay, people have secret resentments, secret lives. A lot of good books on spy recruitment. M-I-C-E, mice. Money, ideology, coercion, ego. The only problem we have is we only get one shot. We recruit one of the staff, get turned down, and they report it to Sigsbee's staff.
Yeah, no second chances.
He says that they need a powerful telepath to see inside the minds of the staff and stuff. They also see some smokestacks going off in the distance.
Fuck is that?
Nobody knows. Happens every week or so.
Doesn't look very eco-friendly.
Yeah, why don't you report him?
Meanwhile, with Tim, Wendy starts telling him about what happened to Zoe Sloan. This happened when Wendy was a freshman. A bunch of seniors, including Zoe, went down to the Red Steps, which is a formation in the river that can drown you easily. They were drinking, and Wendy thinks that they either fell in or they went in deliberately and drowned. Back with Luke, he's walking around the halls when he sees the next new arrival's room being set up. Luke walks into the main living area, or whatever it is, where we find Nikki and Kalisha playing hangman on the couch. George is over at the vending machine, using his telekinesis to steal snacks. Honestly, I would be doing this too.
Futurama, the show that does not advocate the cool crime of robbery.
Anyways, then they all go over to the ping pong table and play around. Luke also tells the others about the new arrival, that his name is Avery Dixon, and his room looks like he's pretty young. Meanwhile, Tim is over at a gas station getting coffee. He helps the owner guy carry some Coca-Cola, and for some reason, the owner guy gives Tim free coffee for life pretty much. That night, Luke is outside in the yard when he sees some security guards with dogs patrolling the perimeter. Opening parenthesis, by the way, this element was not in the book. Anyway, Tim is back on the job, doing his rounds, and he meets up with Annie. They talk for a bit, but then they hear gunshots. So naturally, Tim goes to investigate while Annie hangs back at her tent. What's happening is that the gas station from earlier is being robbed, like Wendy warned us about. Tim manages to scare the robbers off, even though he doesn't have a weapon. Tim runs in to see that the owner guy was shot. So he saves the guy by using random crap he finds around the store. Since Tim called in the situation earlier, Drew of all people shows up finally and gets the others also. He's kind of useless throughout the whole ordeal. Over with the Institute staff, Sixby's inside her house and right outside Hendrix and Stackhouse are talking about turning Luke into a PC that mysterious term from earlier, if you remember. But apparently, they aren't supposed to be doing this and Sixby overhears it. For our last scene of this episode, the new arrival is revealed. Luke wakes up to find Avery Dixon crying on the floor. The others wake up, and Kalisha tells them that Avery is a strong telepath.
Well, let's put it this way. My TP's a D1 swingman. This kid's Michael fucking Jordan.
I didn't know that was Michael Jordan's middle name.
Now Luke and Nikki are on cloud nine because they literally just said that they need a strong telepath to pull their escape off.
Ask and ye shall receive.
And that's how it ends off. I'll probably say this at the end of every episode, but I love this show so far. Normally with Stephen King books, I watch the adaptation first because watching it is easier than reading a really thick book, only to end up not liking it. But I was recommended the book by a friend, and there was no adaptation for it at the time, so I read it because I trusted this friend and the description of the book looked pretty good. And it became one of my favorite books. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See you next time.